Have you ever felt like someone was taking advantage of you and then throwing you away, only to find out that they didn't fully understand how valuable you were? What would it be like to be someone's interest and target, only for them to realize that you are more than just a supply for them? For narcissists, power, admiration, and manipulation are everything. But when they find out that their supply is more than just a way to get what they want, it's a harsh wake-up call. It shakes them to their core and makes them face something they can't easily avoid. This news is more than just a shock for the narcissist, it's a problem. We will talk in depth about what happens when a narcissist realizes that the person who validates them is more than just a thing that can be used. When they realize that you have your own worth, power, and life, it can make them very confused, angry, and scared. But what makes you realize this? And how does it change the way you interact with the narcissist? Stay tuned until the end, because you're about to learn how a narcissist thinks, and how this important moment in your relationship with them can change everything. But before we go into more detail about narcissists' minds and their need for supply, please like, follow, and share this video with anyone who might find it helpful to understand this complicated relationship. Let's look into the truth together, shall we? If you've ever been with a narcissist, you know how much their wants take over your life. Everything revolves around them. Every interaction, talk, and moment is aimed at meeting their needs, satisfying their whims, and confirming their sense of importance. The energy of everyone around a narcissist is drained, so that they can satisfy their endless need for attention, respect, and power. For them, the world is all about getting other people to give them constant positive feedback, which makes you feel like you're stuck in a never-ending cycle of giving while they take. As long as you are around them, you feed into this harmful cycle and become a source of mental support for them. You are seen as nothing more than a way to boost their sense of self-worth, whether that boost comes from admiration, love, attention, or just meeting their wants. However, this is where the real danger lies. Narcissists are never happy with just any kind of supply. Being loved or praised is never enough for them. They need more. Part of the problem is that they want to be accepted. In addition to needing to be affirmed all the time, they are also hungry for power, control, and respect. They really want to be able to control other people and make them do what they want. This is because the narcissist needs to control and manipulate others to keep their low self-esteem up, and to support the idea that they are unique and in charge of everything around them. For them, your worth doesn't depend on who you are as a person, but on how well you meet their needs and how strong you make them feel. For them to feel safe, they need to know that you feel small and unimportant, and that your life is tied to theirs and their needs. Power dynamics like these are what keep narcissists in charge. They get pleasure from your attention and respect, and keep using you to boost their ego. They will expect more of what you give them, which will drain your energy, emotions, and sense of self-worth. As much as you give them, they keep taking, leaving you mentally and physically drained. And they will expect more from you the more you do what they say. Because the narcissist will never be happy, the loop gets harder and harder to break out of. They will never say thanks, or that you've given them what they need. However, they will only take more because they are always looking for the next way to prove their power and control. What do you do though when you're no longer just a source of supply? When you realize you are more than just a piece in their game and can see through their tricks, what do you do? If they find out that you are not easily controlled, that you are not dependent on their praise, and that you have your own sense of worth, what will happen? Now is the turning point for the narcissist. As soon as they feel like they are losing power over you, their whole world falls apart. They are no longer getting the same amount of fuel from the source they were using before. Their sense of safety is being threatened, so they might get frustrated, angry, or even try desperately to get back in charge of you. The real chaos starts when they realize you've become more than they expected. They will have to face the fact that they can't control you in the same way they used to, because the game they've been playing will no longer work. As the power battle heats up, the narcissist will do whatever it takes to get back on top, even if it means using more extreme or illogical methods. And this is where things start to change. It's important to know how this affects both the ego and your mental health. Nasty people realize they can't control you as much as they used to when they realize you have your own life with your own interests, desires, values, and sense of independence. This realization hits them hard, like a blow to the big ego and the fragile, well-built world they've spent so much time creating around themselves. They have built their whole life around controlling others and influencing them. So when that control is taken away, it feels like their whole world is falling apart. Narcissists often have a very weak sense of what they are worth. They can't depend on a sense of value inside themselves because it's so easy to threaten. Instead, they need other people to agree with them in order to feel important and like they count. The love, respect, and control they want from the people around them are what make them who they are. So it's very upsetting for them when someone, especially someone close to them, steps out of the role they've been given, which is to fulfill the narcissist's wants and needs. It directly challenges their view of the world and their weak sense of who they are. For them, it's scary, uncertain, and confusing when you start to show that you are independent and have your own life, separate from theirs. They're not used to being told that their power is limited, so this shocking truth shakes them to their core. In the end, they have to face the painful truth that they can't control you or anything else. For the ego, this moment can be very upsetting. When this information is revealed, they might feel scared. How dare you fight against their control? They think you're crazy to break free and do what you want regardless of what they want or need. What the narcissist sees here is a clear challenge to their power, which they can't stand. When you show them that you can choose your own road, apart from them, it threatens their whole sense of being and existence. They could react in different ways, but you can be sure that none of them will be helpful or productive. If you try to disobey them, they might get angry and react badly. They might use methods of manipulation they've used before to try to get you to give in again. Someone could be gaslighting you, which means they are trying to tell you that your view of reality is wrong, or they could even make up drama to make you feel bad. Narcissists have depended on their sense of invincibility to stay in charge, but now that sense is deeply shaken, they won't just give up without a fight. They will do anything to get back in charge, even if it means using strategies that don't make sense or are too extreme. You should know that their panic and desperation are signs of their weakness, not their power, because they can react in any way you want. Their so-called power was never really as safe as it seemed. At this point, they realize they can't control you in the same way, and they're forced to do whatever it takes to get it back. The narcissist goes through a crisis of their own when they realize they're not working with someone who is easy to control anymore. All of their deepest fears and doubts come to the surface at this very moment, even though they've worked hard to hide them. They no longer know that you or anyone else will always admire and pay attention to them. And the power they thought they had over you goes away like sand in their hands. This loss of power is confusing for them, because they have built their whole identity around being in charge, making decisions and getting praise. During this tough time, the narcissist might act in ways that seem crazy, out of control, or even dangerous. They might lash out in anger, take their manipulative behavior to a whole new level, or even try to cause chaos in their surroundings to feel like they have control again. In order to get back in charge of the story, they might try to discredit you, spread lies about you, or smear your image. They could also try to make trouble with other people by including them in their skewed version of events. This way, even if there is proof to the contrary, their carefully curated image will stay intact. But all of these acts are hidden by a deep and overwhelming fear. A fear that they are losing control and aren't as strong and all-powerful as they thought they were. The front of their building, which they spent a lot of time building, is beginning to crack. It is important to remember that the narcissist shows their real self more when they are trying to hold on to their power. When they feel like they're losing control, they often show their worst traits, like being selfish, feeling entitled, and being ready to use others to get what they want. They try very hard to hide these traits, but they start to show them through their actions. There are flaws in them that become more obvious as they fight to keep their power. Those close to the narcissist, even those they've tried to control, may begin to see through the carefully built image they have worked so hard to keep up. It will get harder for them to hide who they really are as the cracks in their mask get bigger. The narcissists can't accept that you are no longer just a source of supply for them, because they need to be in charge and be praised all the time. Everything they think is based on the idea that they are the center of attention, that the world revolves around them, and that everyone else is just there to meet their wants. They have lived by this mindset for so long that it seems like an unbreakable truth. They have to face an uncomfortable truth when they realize that you are no longer playing the role they have given you, and that you are not just a tool for their pleasure. The fact that they might not be as strong as they thought they were. This realization isn't just a blow to the feelings, it's a crisis of existence. They have to deal with the fact that they can't control everything, and that their safety and sense of self-worth aren't as solid as they thought. Being aware of this can make the narcissist feel like the very basis of their identity is being torn apart. They now have to question everything they have built, and everything they thought they knew about themselves. Their whole sense of self depends on how well they can control and influence others. When they lose control, they have to face their deepest fears, which they work so hard to hide. What does it say about them if they can't control you anymore? Who are they if they can't keep up the appearance that they can't be defeated? Will their real self be shown to everyone? As they become more aware that their power is weakening, these questions start to bother them. The narcissist will realize that you are more than just a resource for them when they realize this. This is a turning point for both of you. It shows how strong, independent, and able to stand up for yourself you are, without letting them control you. It's a deep problem for the narcissist that makes them face the truth about their own weaknesses and limits. It makes them question everything they believe and faces their darkest fears about not being good enough. Despite the difficulties this change may bring, you should remember that this is your chance to take back your power. At that point, you realize that you are not just something that someone else can use. You are a person with worth and freedom on your own. It's not just a loss for the narcissist when they finally accept this truth. What a wake-up call it is. This is a huge step towards breaking free from their power and living the life you deserve. It wasn't easy to come to this realization, and there may still be problems ahead. But you've done something huge by standing firm in your independence, taking back your personal power, and refusing to be a mere supplier. This makes it possible for you to move on with your life without being shaped by someone else's need for power, approval, or manipulation. Because the narcissist realized this, you are no longer a tool to be used by anyone. This is a big moment of growth and strength for you. Thanks for taking the time to learn more about this complicated situation. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share this movie if you thought these ideas were helpful. Your help gives other people the strength and clarity they need to get through tough situations and regain their power. Remember that you are valuable beyond measure and stay strong. You deserve a life that isn't based on lies or tricks, and is full of the honesty and happiness that come from knowing what you're worth. Have you ever felt like someone was taking advantage of you and then throwing you away, only to find out that they didn't fully understand how valuable you were? What would it be like to be someone's interest and target, only for them to realize that you are more than just a supply for them? For narcissists, power, admiration, and manipulation are everything. But when they find out that their supply is